like, obviously we'll do our best to pay you as much as we can, but without furlough, that can only last a few weeks before we're gone anyway.
I think it's almost certain that businesses in Wales will need further financial support, especially if restrictions are widened to other industries, or if hospitality businesses are closed down entirely. The problem the Welsh Government has in these situations is that it doesn't have those borrowing powers. It has a set amount of funding that it gets from the taxes that it raises, and the block grant that it gets from the UK government, 60 million, is going to support these businesses for a matter of weeks, not months. And after that, the UK government is going to need to step in with a furlough scheme.
Meanwhile, the First Minister has not ruled out further measures on extended households and the rule of 6 in hospitality settings after Christmas, but said the ability to take decisions on any lockdown while supporting businesses is severely constrained without help from the UK Treasury.
Without the support of the UK government, we are going to really struggle. If shifts are cancelled, many of those individuals don't actually get paid.
But yeah, there's a key issue here, which is going to be, I hope, right at the heart of the COBRA meeting that is going to be happening later today with the 4 governments of the 4 nations coming together, which is the financial support. Because as the First Minister said on the programme, and indeed the First Minister of Scotland has said exactly the same thing, they are limited at the moment in terms of their financial firepower as to the public health decisions that they're able to make. So if they don't have a central bank. If we were an independent country, we'd be having a very different conversation. We don't have the full range of tax levers available to the Treasury, and therefore we need to know that if it's needed in Wales, Scotland or Northern Ireland, or indeed in England, that financial support is available so we can provide furlough support.
And we'll get onto that with Simon Hart in a bit. But the situation is the situation, and staff who work for nightclubs need to know how they're going to get paid over the next few weeks as well, don't they?
Absolutely, and this is why we need in Wales to have the Treasury support, so we can
but if it's not forthcoming, you can't just make an announcement, say that, oh, by the way, you're not going to be able to work for the next few weeks, and we're not really quite sure how you're going to get your wages.
There are certain decisions which because we're in a public health emergency now, indeed the UK Prime Minister has declared this an Omicron emergency, then there are certain urgent interventions that you need to take anyway in order to protect public health. But it absolutely is the right thing to put to the Secretary of State for Wales. Now, look, Wales needs that financial support. Simon Hart says he's a unionist. He says that the UK government cares about every part of the United Kingdom, including Wales. Now is the opportunity for him to show that.
All right, we'll leave it there with you, Adam Price. Simon Hart, thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, on that charge then, is it really fair that when it comes to turning on the Treasury's financial taps, it's seemingly only able to turn them on when England deems it a public health necessity, but not when Wales or Scotland thinks they need financial support?
I don't think that is fair, and I listened very carefully to what Adam said and previously the FM. And actually, I think of all of the debates we could have about the handling of COVID right from the very start, I think the one thing that probably most people are agreed on is that Treasury acted unbelievably quickly to make sure that everybody in the UK had, as far as it was ever possible, to do as much help as they need. And the furlough scheme, I think, was probably an early example of that. 1 in 3 people in the workforce in Wales immediately were able to tap into that furlough scheme provided at speed by the Treasury. Same with business interruption loans. The vaccination programme itself has been a remarkable achievement by everybody involved with it, but it was only achievable as a result of rapid work by HMT. And last week, I think it was last week, but in the last few days, another £135 million made available to Welsh Government to deal with exactly the problems we've been talking about. So of all the charges that could be levelled at us, I think this is one where Rishi Sunak and his team really have stepped up to the mark fully and quickly.
And no one wanted to be back in this situation, of course, but we are where we are, and the Welsh Government deems it necessary to close nightclubs after Christmas because of public health. We can argue whether that's the right thing to do or not, but that's what they've decided. And as it stands, there's no furlough support for those workers.
Well, that's not. I was in a meeting earlier on this week with Rishi Sunak's sort of second in command with the First Ministers of Wales and Scotland, and it's been made very clear to them that if there are special circumstances which require additional funding, they can make an application in the usual way. I know that sounds a bit turgid and bureaucratic, but actually the way the Treasury is working at the moment is trying to upfront all of these payments. So an offer has already been made that where there are exceptional circumstances, explain them, but come to us, make the argument.
Okay. And will we see the Treasury be offering more support to pubs and restaurants that they're seeing mass cancellations at the moment?
Sorry, I missed out.
Sorry, will we see the Treasury give extra support to pubs and restaurants that are seeing mass cancellations at the moment?
Well, as I said, the Treasury made it really clear to Mark Drakeford and others that if you have a particular sort of evidence-based situation which is unique to the area of your responsibility, make sure we know about it. Make sure we tell you. We're not going to rule anything in or anything out. We haven't done right from the beginning. Remember Rishi Sunak's words at almost the very start of the pandemic was we were going to try against what seemed like impossible odds at the time to make sure absolutely everybody who needed help got it. And of course, where there were people who, as is always inevitable, fell into the cracks, please tell us and we will see if there are ways we do that. And actually, as I said at the beginning, this is one area where I think the Treasury has sort of confounded.
You said that.